This is like the Real Housewives of Yahoo or something. I mean, it's like a soap opera. What's the soap opera backstory we need to know about this phone call that was made?
Well, I think right now, I think that the board is definitely under some pressure to show that they're actually acting in shareholder interests. I think there's been a lot of speculation around private equity firms taking a look, that there's been some activist shareholders that have come into the picture. I think that this was a show by the board that, look, they're listening to shareholders and that, and that basically they are trying to realize some value. Longer term chart, let's bring it up here. Yahoo, painful.
Hi, Carol, it's Roy. I mean, it was quite a phone call. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever observed this in your career?
Well,
I was fired by phone call?
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't have a comment there.
You don't have a comment there. Well, you do in your notes.
I mean, I think in some respects, though, the frustration that investors have right now and the board's willingness to try and show that they're addressing those concerns, it actually stems back to before Carol even came on board. And I think in some respects, the responsibility actually sort of falls to the board. You know, they were the ones who actually put Carol in that position. I think there was a lot of concern about her fit for that role. And I think when you look at the offer that they turned down from Microsoft, you know, Carol really wasn't even in the picture at that point. I mean, and that was roughly 3 times what the stock's trading at currently.
Well, here's the chart. Let's bring it up early. I was going to bring this up a minute from now, but let's do it right now. Dumb and Dumber. Ken brings up Microsoft and Yahoo. Michael Holland on Bloomberg Surveillance this morning talking up Microsoft was in, Yahoo was rather in the 30s. And that's the date. Ari Levy gave me that date in 08. And there's the white line, down goes Yahoo, and there's Microsoft slogging along, given this crisis. I mean, why did they say no to Microsoft? Remind me.
Well, I think, at the time, there was just starting to understand the importance of kind of search's ability to power display. I think they had the Asian assets, which people still weren't talking about, but now they represent roughly half of Yahoo's value. I think there was the perception that Yahoo just hit a snag, kind of a bump in the road, and that they would start to power on.
I am an ignoramus on this, and I knew that Google's share was going up, and where's it, 60-some% now, right?
Exactly.
Does it still go up?
Google is still gaining share. I mean, I think that at that point, the companies really felt like search wasn't over. And I think for most outside viewers, I think just like you pointed out, it was really determined it was. And it was the time to move on.
Do you know anyone who uses Yahoo?
There's still, 500 million plus people around the world who do use Yahoo. So I think that, if they could figure out what would make people want to actually stay on the site and drive higher engagement, great. They could start to show some traffic trend improvement. I think AOL has tried to do that. They've shown some engagement improvement, but programming to the web is an expensive effort.
Lawrence Haverty was on this morning. Bring up this shot here of the interim chief executive officer of Yahoo. That's like not a very flattering picture. That's like he didn't get his surveillance coffee mug or something. I mean, who is Tim Boers? And is his first goal to dial 1-800-BALMER, as Larry says, and get a deal done?
I think that we'll see who goes in, who they select to replace Carol, or if they even select a candidate to replace Carol at this point. I think that the fact that they made this announcement without a CEO in mind, I think signals that, look, they are open to possibilities. They also, in the board statement, they specified that, look, they are exploring all possibilities right now, and I'm sure that a breakup or a sale is among those.
What does it say about the revenue component of these kind of businesses? If it's unit and price on revenues, which is most at threat right now for the Yahoos of the world? Is it unit deterioration?
I think from Yahoo, from when you say unit, I think that's the engagement. I think there's some engagement factor issues at hand. I think, there's a risk around their search business, given that they went into a pact with Microsoft a couple years ago, and those guarantees for pricing are going to expire beginning next year. But I think, you also have these very valuable Asian assets that aren't necessarily monetizing just yet. But when you look at a company like Baidu, that's about a $40 billion company. But there's almost no credit for Yahoo's Taobao ownership, which is a company that's almost
maybe Sino Forest will buy it. That's a joke. That's as close as I get to a joke on a Wednesday. What's your single best buy now? I'm bored with Yahoo. What's your single best buy right now?
You know, we like Google right now. I think that Google actually is valuation's attractive. It's still posting very strong growth. I think that, you know, we also like Amazon quite a bit, but I think going into, you know, sort of the pullback that we've had recently, you know, I would say we would continue to like Google.
Amazon is testing a new website. Even I have figured that out on Twitter.
Right, and I think there's a lot of excitement around the Amazon tablet, which, you know, is something we've written a lot about.
To go up against iPad, cheaper price point?
It would, and I think what Amazon offers is, you know, not only will you see it probably 1,000 times through the course of the holiday, and if your brother-in-law doesn't have one, they're going to know about it, etc.
Right.
But you know, they also have an opportunity to price it more competitively, I think, than their peers, and they have enough media products to basically try and use this platform to help them get a stronger positioning there.
Any thoughts on Netflix here?
Well, I don't cover Netflix, but I think that, you know, a lot of what you're seeing in terms of what Google is doing, Amazon, and, you know, you know, a lot of that ultimately will probably find a way into competing with Netflix.
10 seconds. When does Microsoft buy Yahoo?
I can't make the speculation. I think that we're an advisory firm, but I can't make those kinds of guesses.
It's part of a happily balanced portfolio. Your general counsel, that was very good. Ken Sena on Yahoo.
Okay.
Really interesting. You. I mean, to dig down here, he has got an overweight on it. Target 19 on Yahoo.